A little bit of a channel update and a mini unboxing from Banggood. I'm going to get the mini unboxing out of the way here. I did a review on the ghost meter a while back. This more or less does the same thing. It's an EM meter. And I haven't tried it out yet. If I have anything significant to say about it, maybe I'll have a little mini thing on it later if I find anything good. But you can find even electrical problems in a house if it's wired really wrong. The problem with the ghost meter is it has a pretty limited frequency response, pretty much the audible range, not much above audible. Whereas this meter goes into the RF quite a ways. And it should even be able to pick up things like cellular and high frequency bugs that are out of its range if they're strong enough. So I'll be playing with that. Probably a better choice than the ghost meter. Even for, well, I guess if you were a ghost hunter, you'd like the little light that lights up on the ghost meter. So you can sit it aside and call the spirits to your meter with no one around it. And so here it is, with batteries in it finally. Pretty strong EM here. But it does have a light on it, so it could be used the same way a ghost meter is used. If you want to put it on a flat surface and call the ghosties in. Must be haunted. Yeah, it'll pick up 120 lines if you get close enough to them. And then it'll pick up some of the stronger EM fields at a bigger distance. Yeah, it's pretty much like the ghost meter. But you'd have a better chance of finding a bug or something like that with this one. Transmitter of any sort. Alright, this is these Dreamcast lights, and they arrive in pretty bad shape here. Of course, both these have been removed from their bags already. I just hope these aren't too smashed to work. I settled on these because this one that I have up, just like these, has been doing really well for almost a year now. I got them in white instead of black like the last one. Your white's a little more efficient. But yeah, we'll see how they match up and if they keep performing as well as the one I have already. It looks like it survived. They're pretty tough. I like it. Very minimalistic. Compared to those big old housings and issues with the dye not being fastened and heat sinked correctly and all that. Crummy little ballast. Here the ballast is built in. It's basically a throwaway device, I suppose, if the ballast fails. Well, see how long they go. It looks like they all survived. So I'm going to have a complement of 4 of these, including the one that's already up. And that barn on 2 different light switches. The last light switch I'll do something else with. I'll probably fix up some of the old ones I have. Or continue to use fluorescence. And actually the fluorescents you can get now, you can get LED equivalent fluorescents for like $10 now. I don't know how bright they are, but I saw that recently in a flyer. Or not much more than $10 anyway. What's in this little sachet? Oh, I bought some LED bulbs. I'm going to maybe try my tractor. Let's see if they survive any better than the other ones. I may just have to put a voltage regulator of its own right in series with the headlamp circuit. I don't know. I may go back and do my whole main regulator, which actually did work. It just needed a bigger heatsink, or to be probably put into a heatsink that can be installed into the cowl, so it gets the airflow from the cowl like the existing heatsink does for the existing regulator. But we'll see about that. The news is I'm moving out of my little hut here. I've used this house as basically a locker. That's why it's such a mess. Of course I'm moving, that's why it's really a mess. I was too far away from my main house that I've owned for 20 years to get to this job when I transferred across the state. So, showing you all my messiest messes. It's been a nice house, it's been a nice place to live. Anyway, the story was I moved across the state from the Detroit metro area, Dearborn actually, over to Twin Lake here, because I was able to make a linear transfer in my job from southeastern Michigan area to the Muskegon area. So at any rate, I was able to make a linear move. Keep my same job on the other side of the state and be closer to my up north property. And still at an hour and a half drive between here and my property up north, it was too much of a commute to maintain very long. So I bought this place to commute to my job and did that for about almost 9 years. And then I retired. I've lived here 3 years since then. And now that my complimentary services are used up from being an employee, I was a cable line tech, paying full price on everything out here now. I'd still love to be able to get cable out my north place, but I really am limited up there. We'll see what happens with the channel. I'm going to have to deal with a real limited satellite connection for now, and I will try something different next time, but I'm on a 2-year plan with them. So sorry about the slow progress on making any videos. I had several things shot on this little guy. It's a get some light going in here. And I had it almost all rebuilt and fixed. And then it kind of stuck together on its own, and I couldn't get it apart. And trying to get it apart, I broke 3 pins, which isn't that hard to repair with some, hot metal resistor leads or something, heavy resistor leads, something thick. I'll fix these slides again since I broke the pin. I went through all the trouble of fixing the upper slide on one of them, which was a real pain in the butt, only to have this happen. So I'm really kind of discouraged. And the whole thing doesn't really charge that well anyway. I shot a lot of video on this. I talk about the history of the Buddy L company. Maybe I'll put some of that together, I don't know. Let's have a microprocessor in it. It's kind of interesting, but I looked at the with the scope, and I pretty much just saw a flat line. I didn't see anything. I didn't even really see it cycling through. I thought I'd see it cycle through a test, and then periodically, but I didn't really seem to do that. So I'm probably just going to give up on this project after all that time I've got into it. The real issue is the contacts are in pretty poor shape. Cleaned them up as well as I could, but they're not, far from perfect. And with the contacts being poor, it really defeats the whole purpose of the thing being reliable. I'll have like 1 bay out of 4 that's really reliable. I have 2 bays that are semi-reliable. And then I was going to take some wires out paralleled with the bays so I could have external battery holders. But the whole thing never really did charge that well. It's really it's nice that it can hold anything from a AAA to a big D cell. And maybe the metal's still shiny where the D cell would contact. That's kind of why I was thinking of keeping it. That's a big maybe though. At least in most of the sockets it would have less wear. Most of it was AA, most usage. And it's pretty worn, and it never charged that well. You always had the double, triple. The real gimmick of this was I can charge alkalines, which it really can't. It did such a timid attempt at it that they hardly even put a head on them. So maybe I'll show more of that because I did shoot a lot of video on it. This project's going to be done. Another video thing I shot a lot of video on was this project. I had all working. I had 2 of these lights. I was fixing them up. I had them all working, and then they stopped working again. Then I had a solar panel for one of them. It was working, and then it wasn't working, and I had to cut all the cord off of it. It was just kind of circled down. It's almost not worth the effort. There's better stuff in the market now. Even at this cheap range, they're a little better than they were. I don't know if that's going to go anywhere either. So, long and short of it is, the last couple projects of the neglected test bench are probably going to be really neglected and shit canned. And the rest of the bench, you can see, has been taken apart mostly already. It's going to be packed up and gone. This will mean I'll have extra bench space. This is going to be set up near my other bench, that I have up north. So I'm going to have more bench space yet, which will probably end up like it is right now, all heaped up with junk. But what I'm planning to do up north is keep one half of this bench pretty much set up all the time with a laptop and for digital stuff, Arduino type projects. And so I can keep that kind of set up there, long term. And then the other half will be the project of the day, especially if I have visitors. I'll try to keep this side of the bench for quickie projects. And then, of course, my other bench needs to get cleared up. Everything up north is getting packed in. That's why the video production is so slow. All the junk I moved out of this house is filling my little place up north, which, is no bigger than this place is. I finished a lot of maintenance on my other channels. I may still move a few old videos from Hill or Streams to Hills and Streams. I don't know, I'm debating that one. None of them are high def. A few old electronics videos from Hill or Stream over to here too. I'd like feedback on that if you'd like to see those or not. Otherwise, I should be picking the pace up a bit after October or so. And be putting more emphasis in this channel for a change. Audible audio.